Welcome to your Confident English Wednesday lesson. This week we're focused on how to respond to bad or even sad news. The reality is in life, bad things happen. There are times when we're upset, when something unexpected happens, or times when we are deeply sad, when we are grieving about something. And as human beings, we naturally want to help. If it's our friends, our family members, or our colleagues, we want to help, we want to show sympathy, and we want to show that we care. So if you are in a situation where a colleague or a friend shares with you some really bad or sad news, I want you to know how you can show that you care and that you sympathize with your friend and colleague in English. Today we're going to focus on 3 different situations and types of responses. The first group will be a few responses that you can use in a situation that is very informal with someone that you know very, very well. And maybe it is bad news, but it's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. And then we're going to focus on expressions that are slightly more formal. They would be appropriate to use at work and when the news is pretty bad. And then finally, maybe the most difficult, the moments when we honestly feel that we are at a loss for words. We don't know what to say because the news is just really bad or very sad, such as a death in the family. So we'll talk about expressions for each of those types of situations, and there are many more examples in the online lesson. So situation number 1, one of your closest friends at work or colleagues tells you that they can't go to dinner tonight because they have to work overtime. Maybe you had plans and you were excited to go to dinner together, but your friend or colleague needs to work overtime. So it's bad news, it's disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst news. So a typical response would be, "Oh no, that stinks." So we use the word stinks. Normally, this is a word that means a bad smell. But we use it when we respond to bad news, and we often say, oh no, it stinks, I'm so sorry. That's such a bummer. That is another typical response. I'm so sorry, that is such a bummer. Or, oh no, I'm so disappointed. So each of those situations uses some typical expressions, oh no, and I'm sorry, and then we include something else such as, that stinks, or what a bummer, or I'm so disappointed. So if you have a situation with a close friend or colleague and the news is bad, but it's not the end of the world, it's not the worst news, it's not terrible, and it's not grief, it's not deep sadness, then any of those expressions would be appropriate. Now in situation number 2, we're going to use language that is a little bit more formal. So it would be appropriate for someone that you don't know very well, a client or a colleague. It would also be appropriate for situations that can be more upsetting, news that is much more difficult to hear. For example, if someone loses their job, that really is a shock, and that can be very upsetting. It can be scary because we all know that we need our jobs to make our lives work and to earn income. So if someone lost their job, you might say, I'm so sorry to hear that. Or we might add extra information. For example, that is so awful. That is so upsetting. I'm so sorry to hear that. So you could use just, I'm so sorry to hear that, or you could add information to show that you understand how it might feel. That must be so awful. That must be so disappointing. I'm so sorry to hear that. So those expressions allow you to show that you understand how the person feels and that you truly are sympathetic. You're sorry to hear that information. And finally, in situation number 3, we're going to focus on situations when the news is particularly painful or upsetting. It might be full of grief or deep sadness, such as the news of a death, or maybe something like a divorce. Both of those situations are certainly full of pain, they're very upsetting and full of grief. So we can use the same expression from situation number 2. I'm very sorry to hear that, or I'm so sorry to hear that. In the situation of the death of a loved one, or even someone who has a pet that they're very close to, we might say, I'm very sorry for your loss. More formally, we could say, I want to offer you my sincerest condolences, or I want to offer you my sincerest sympathies. This is more formal, but it does have a lot of emotion to it. We also use that expression when we are expressing our sympathy in writing. So if you're going to write an email or a card to someone, you could use that expression. Of course, it's also natural that in situations such as a death, we want to help. We want to do more than only offer our sympathy. So you could let someone know that if they need to talk, you are always there for them. Or if you need anything, I am here for you. If you need anything, please let me know. In the United States, it's very common in a situation where there is something very painful, such as a death or a divorce, when someone might need extra help. And naturally, for people we care about, we want to help. So many specific responses might be offering a meal, offering a dinner, taking dinner to the family who is grieving, or maybe helping them take care of everyday tasks such as doing laundry, helping them clean their home, going to the grocery store to buy groceries, so that the person who is grieving doesn't need to think about everyday tasks. So offering that help and being very specific about what you want to do is very appropriate. We do this a lot in English. So you could offer your sympathy and say that you are so sorry and you would love to help, and I'm going to bring your family a meal on Thursday evening. Or I am going to go grocery store shopping for you tomorrow. What do you need? Send me a list. Or I want to come to your home tomorrow to help clean. I know that you have a lot of people coming to your home tomorrow. I want to help you, so I will come tomorrow to help you clean. Being very specific can be very useful to someone who is grieving. So now you have many different ways that you can offer your sympathy or respond to bad news when you hear bad news from a friend or a colleague. If you found this useful, helpful, as always, please share it. You can share it on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. You can forward it to your friends. You can like this lesson, you can like the video, or subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next Wednesday.